Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Bad Throws, Good Bros YouTube channel, or the Another Round YouTube channel, whatever you're watching on. We have round 3 of Creekside Open, long awaited. Dave.
We have a very special guest today. We're in the shop right now with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Ben Maroff.
Tied for 5th right now. Not bad.
Fifth.
Even after that second round that you guys got to watch.
Yeah. How'd the second round go?
Honestly, it felt almost identical to the first round, just not quite as dialed. Instead of having like 5-foot putts, I had 25-foot putts, and you know how that goes. So,
yeah. Going into round 3, Hi Kim, the local lefty, leading us at negative 21. Gabe Kenney, 1 AMs, made it to lead card for round 2 and round 3, just a few strokes behind Kai. You have David on and
Caleb Caplin from down south.
Yeah.
Rounding out the top 4 for lead card today. I think Caleb's been on coverage before.
He has, once before.
He's a stud. He always comes up to support our events, so it's good to see him on the lead card.
Yeah, and Davey, he's been crushing the past year, this year specifically.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been awesome to watch. Last year, he decided on a whim to move up to MPO from like MA2, I think he was playing, just took the jump. And in that first tournament, he, I think, pushed a playoff with Alex Tews, who's a stud. And he's rated like 970, 980. But anyways, we got hole 1 here. This is a 474-foot par 4. Par 4, you ask. Why is it par 4? Well, it's because during states in this position, nobody birdied it. So we decided to call it a par 4 for a little bit of score separation. And we've got Kai first on the pad here. This is definitely a hole that kind of shapes up well for the lefty backhand. It's hard to get there with a righty backhand or even a righty forehand, and we'll see how he shapes it up.
Yeah, going for that hyzer flip line, just kind of fading out a little bit early. Takes a skip up, rolls down the hill a little bit, stays safe out of the road there. Gets a really good roll, actually.
Yeah, on this hole, it's less important, in my opinion, to be in great position left or right, and more important just to get down there to get the distance, because, you know, within circle 2, as long as you're getting up and down pretty easy, it feels good to get a par.
Yeah.
On this hole when it's a par 3, but it's a pretty easy birdie, kind of a soft birdie for the pros. I got a 4 on this though. So.
The righty backhand, the big danger is leaking out left, because when you get into that like low left pin position down there, kind of completely blocks you off, and it's really hard to throw like a flex forehand up, get close to the basket to give yourself a look.
Yeah, we've got a new layout today. So our first and second rounds were both played on the same day. Creekside kind of sticks with the classic 2 rounds in one day and 1 round on the second day from, you know, probably some classic A tiers, B tiers. It's been happening for a long time in that format, and so we kept it like that, and we'll continue to keep it like that. But we got a different layout today than what you guys got to see for round 1 and round 2.
Caleb, next on the box. Before we really get into this, Caleb told me as he was warming up that he got food poisoning or something the night before, and he felt like crap this whole round. So Caleb's dealing with a stomach issue. Don't know exactly what it was, but he decided to show up for round 3, push through, and, you know, fight for a lead.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, we had, I think, $1,500 added cash to this, so if you're in position to cash, it's not a bad call just to stick around. And Caleb's a professional and a stud, so he's probably shooting to at least make cash, which should be no problem for him today. And then Davey saws this one off a little bit early. That's also one of the things you don't want to do, is saw it off early and cut roll, just because the upshot becomes tricky. But he's lining up a forehand here, should get up and down with no problem.
Yeah, I feel like taking a par when it's a par 3, a birdie when it's a 4, feels good on this hole. Eagleable, yes, but you're not necessarily going for the eagle. That's a great up from Davey.
Yeah, he's been putting super well all weekend. It was a pleasure to play with him during round 2. He just kind of had a quietly excellent round. And we'll see if he can put another one together for round 3.
Yeah, I feel like the key to Creekside is especially making those like edge of circle to just inside C2 putts.
Yeah,
that's how you score hot.
It's a course that stays on your toes. As we see Gabe with his little forehand up shot, should be a tap-in birdie. Caleb doing the same, just not messing with it. If you go deep of this hole, it does slope down kind of aggressively, and you are at risk of rolling down into no man's land, which makes a putt coming back kind of tricky.
Yeah, being down in the left bush is definitely scary. Kai giving this a real run.
Just
off
for
the top.
eagle, too, on this hole. So that would have been some good score separation. I don't think we had any twos throughout the whole round. I'm not sure on that, but I don't think we did. Davey trying to clean up here and secure his birdie after a tougher drive, and he nails it.
Yeah, his putt's been looking amazing all week. Just very strong, very confident.
Caleb for a tap in.
I like how you call these tap-ins, Ben.
I mean,
these are very missable putts for us amateurs out there.
Man, I shouldn't be talking. Oh, okay, never mind. Well, there it is. I'm watching this live, just so you guys know. I wasn't out there filming, so for me, these are all live, actual reactions that you're getting.
There were 2 eagles, Lane Jensen and Garrett Colwell.
Nice. Okay, 2 big arms is what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah, some easy tap-ins there for Kai and Gabe.
So Caleb, I think the solo par on that hole, which is kind of losing strokes to folks on an easy hole 1. Hole 2, this plays as I think the toughest position for this hole. It is a dogleg left, but where the drone's flying here, you either need to be going over or under this branch right here. I think the best play is a low flaring skip shot that is pushing just slightly deep of this tree. And there is OB deep beyond, so you do have to be careful not to go too far. It's probably only about 15, 20 feet behind the basket on the left side. And this hole's gotten a little easier as some trees have fallen down on this line, but it is still one of those holes where if you miss this first gap and hit something early, that it can be super punishing. There's jail on the left, there's jail on the right. You really just want to throw something here that's in the middle of the fairway and ideally beyond that kind of ridge up into sort of the island area for this hole.
Yeah, getting like mid C2 and anywhere closer is a really good shot on this hole, especially with the initial gap. You can go over that half tree, as this looks really good from Gabe.
It catches that angled tree, though, and just kicks straight down, unfortunately.
That tree is in kind of the perfect position to block shots. It is lined up almost exactly on a righty backhand hyzer angle that would be otherwise a perfect shot approaching the green.
Yeah, my play for this is always try to park that center pin and give myself a C2 putt.
Davey sneaking around. It looks like it might be cutting in a little early inside, but it sneaks through.
It got real sneaky through that like jail section there.
That's not bad. Getting a birdie on this hole, I think, is going to be taking probably a half stroke at least on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, he got lucky because you could easily hit those trees on that left side, kick back, and just have no look getting up and down to the basket.
Caleb lining up his shot after the par. This looks good as well. Gotta get left now.
It looks like he's throwing something a little slower here. That's my play on this hole as well. It's like an overstable 5-speed, even an overstable putter that you can really hammer just flat and hard, knowing that it's not going to flip over on you or get left too early. Because when you're left too early, this is what you're faced with. Kai has a nice window to get up to the green, but it can be much more challenging than in the window he saw there.
Yeah, I feel like where Caleb lands is a pretty regular landing zone for a good shot on this hole. Davey getting lucky, a little closer. Caleb to get on the scorecard. What is this, about 35?
Yeah, probably just outside circle.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't push a little bit further.
Front cage, 2 holes in a row. He'll look to get one of those putts in. His putting's great, so once he hits one, I'm sure he'll start dropping. Maybe for the solo bird on this hole.
Good putt. Good putt from Davey. It's a confident putt, too, with Obi right behind the basket from where he's putting. Gotta feel good taking that putt. Take it on to the next few holes with a lot of confidence. Kai tapping in his par.
Yeah, he did not want to wait for the camera.
No, Kai doesn't like to wait for the camera most times. Par 4s, he's a little better, but...
Gabe should be able to tap in here.
And for those of you who have not watched the first 2 rounds, Gabe Kenney throws right-handed, forehand and backhand, but putts left-handed.
Yep.
Very interesting.
He's a mystery man. It's been fun to watch him come up and just get better and better. Hole 3, this is a new tee position that we hadn't played before. had the opportunity to tee off from the sidewalk or from a gravel pad. And this hole is kind of daunting, but you really only have one job, and that is to not be short of this line of the blue flags that you're seeing right here. Anything short of this plays as hazard. For the lefty, it's pretty much a stock backhand. For the righty, you need a forehand or a nice turnover backhand to get into this green, which is pretty well protected by trees. So it does take a good shot to get close.
How far is the carry to the hazard?
It's probably like 280 or something like that. And Davey turns one over here, but he makes it. And does he check up?
He does. He hits that log and comes back just on that side of the mando.
Yeah, there is a mando that forces you to stay to the right of that pole. It doesn't come into play very often, but it's there.
More of a safety mando than anything.
Yeah, hole 4's tee pads right there.
Kai lining up a shot here. Looks like he's throwing the AVR 3 that I gave him.
He's been throwing that thing everywhere at Creekside.
Yeah, it's a money disc.
Leaks out a little bit early on him, and we see him right there in that same position Gabe was in at round 2.
Gabe and Austin round 1.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot to be. Those flags that you saw there are the OB deep for hole 2, so he is safe and will have a nice shot at the green. Gabe's going to line up a forehand here. I like the forehand play on this. If I had a forehand like this, I would play it. I'm a turnover backhand kind of guy, so that's what I would throw on this hole. But this is the smart shot. Keeping it low, trying to avoid those high branches in the tree, and just punching something through. He gets caught up on like the one bush you have to beat, but it was still a good shot.
Yeah, they were talking about the hornet's nest that's in there, and very cautious about wanting to have to putt from.
Yeah, the hazards of Creekside.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I had an issue with that bush, it was actively on fire when we had one of our seasonal, oh crap, Creekside's on fire alerts that happened, and we were playing a league round. My disc landed in there, and it was on fire, but there's nothing in the PDJ ruling that states you can't take a lie if it's on fire, so we played as it lies. And Caleb with a great forehand. Caleb's got a killer forehand. His form in general reminds me of Kevin Jones, and he's got that like super quick whip of a forehand, and that's a great shot from there.
Last time that Kai and Caleb played together on a feature card or whatever card it was, Kai said Caleb wasn't throwing 200 feet with his backhand yet. And we'll see that backhand come out a little more throughout the round, but backhand form is also looking really well. As Davey gives that a bid, a little long.
Abe, we'll see if his putter's still hot.
Kind of cheating that he putts lefty with this lie.
It's a crazy tool. I mean, that's a nasty putt.
Yeah.
Especially at this point in the tournament, he's only down 2 strokes to Kai. Kai's a little bit out of position. And yeah, those branches can get in the way.
Yeah, those branches are the one thing you have to worry about. Caleb here has an open look, edge of circle.
Just off. 3 holes with 3 cage hits. Just kind of getting the putter dialed in. He's an excellent putter. I'm sure he'll heat up. Davey to save par.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be in jail back there, but luckily he landed like right in the pathway that comes out.
And that's honestly a killer par save, right? Your nerves are probably working on you at this point. Even though we're only a few holes in, you're on lead card at a big B tier.
Yeah. Caleb, very similar putt to Davey. Almost the same exact putt.
Yeah, I think he was maybe a disc length in front of him.
This is where I feel like he looks like KJ. He's got this like excellent straddle putt. He gets way low.
And he even gives it that hyzer too.
Yep. Great putt.
Great putt from these guys. Kai will tap out his par. We're moving on to hole 4. I feel like the first 3 holes, you get through them, and then the course really...
Yeah, it starts to kind of become a little more birdie or die on the back 9 as we move on to hole 4 here, which is generally birdie or die. There's probably a couple more bogeys on this hole than normal because all of those flags mark an OB. So it's not an island hole, but it might as well be. There's OB left, there's OB right, there's OB long. And while it's a short hole, it's well protected by these trees. You have to come at it with something that's going through the right gap on hyzer for the righty backhand, But honestly, I prefer the left line to this hole. It's a little cleaner because there's a lot to sneak through. As you can see, Gabe hitting one of those trees early on. I don't think it kicked OB, so it should be a pretty easy up and down for him to save his par. But this is a hole that at 272 feet feels like you have to get it in a moment like this.
Yeah, this is definitely one of definitely the most protected pin position on this hole. Davey throwing that forehand. This looks really, really good.
Dude, his forehand's gotten so much better this year, too.
Yeah, that's great. He's pushing that OB long, but it gets down early enough. If you have the forehand, I love that play. Me personally, I kind of like to throw kind of like a flex backhand, have it land in the gap and kind of just hide it towards the basket, scoot towards it. Kai going with his forehand here.
It's interesting to see him go for the forehand here. I feel like the lefty backhand line suits up really nicely, but he's been working hard on his forehand, and with his confidence in his putt, that should be, honestly, a birdie for him. We'll see how the putt goes.
He's standing there begging for a sign, whether or not it's safe or not.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. The OB lines here at Creekside in general with the logs can be kind of fluky. It's just part of Creekside's history is just putting logs down and calling it OB. If you look at our island on 6 that we often have him play, and that's a great shot from Caleb.
Yeah, that should be a birdie for Caleb. Get on the scorecard, start feeling good about your game. Gabe now inbounds. Now he's just got to get up and down. Throwing this berg.
I feel like Gabe is kind of built for this shot. I think you could say he's been very molded by Creekside as a player. It's definitely his course, and he's out there playing all the time, whether it's sanctioned leagues or other leagues, and he smashes every time. Kind of with an easy tap and birdie. I feel like anything inside of 25 feet, I'm giving him 90% chance of making any day of the week.
Yeah, for sure. Davey going to a knee just to get clear of that tree, get his birdie. Count it.
Great putt from Davey.
Been working on it a lot. He's been working on it a lot.
Yeah,
you can tell.
That stroke looks so good out of his hand.
Caleb tapping in his 2. This is one of those holes you definitely want to be as close as you can because there are some trees blocking you short, and that's an easy 2. Gabe tapping out his par.
Yeah, I feel like hole 4 is where you start to get a rhythm of the course. You're throwing tight tunnels just like hole 5, whether that's forehand, backhand.
Oh.
Par 3, 291 feet.
I think this is the one I filmed too. Did I film this one?
You did not film this one, so we didn't have coverage of the pin off to the right here. So if you follow that tunnel down to the right, that anthill there is where the pin is for today. Unfortunately, we didn't have a drone shot of that. We weren't able to get one. So ignore the basket that's straight ahead. It does veer out hard right.
Yeah, this is either a turnover backhand or kind of like a high-speed overstable forehand. And
Davey goes to the local line.
Wow. I've never seen that line. Did it work?
No.
Okay.
He got an early tree, kicked out to the right a little bit, so he's kind of in the middle of 4 and 5s.
That first tree you see on the right side is kind of the one to beat. If you can have something that's curving hard left to right, going around that tree, you're normally in business. The green is up on a hill, and so any putts that are, outside of circle are at risk when you run them, at least, of going long. And so this is a hole that you want to be inside circle on for sure. Outside of that, it's a pretty tough birdie.
Yeah, I feel like the forehand skip shot plays pretty well. It'll get you to the bottom of that hill most of the time. The backhand turnover for a righty is how you get within 10, 15 feet consistently if you have that shot. It is still very technical and very touchy. As we see Gabe lining up his forehand after Caleb hitting that one guardian tree that you were talking about, Ben.
This looks good.
Low, takes that big flare skip right around the tree there.
That's a great shot.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great forehand. That's that skip shot I'm talking about. His skip further right than I see most skip shots go on this hole. Caleb, still a little work to do to save his par.
Yeah, as long as you're not deep right or deep left, if you kick back into the fairway, it's not a super hard up and down for your par. As Davey snuck through a lot more than I thought he did.
Yeah, you know what I noticed after watching this round? Caleb has a nasty 100-foot dead straight forehand shot.
Do you know what he's throwing for that? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No.
Kai for his birdie.
Big hit. That's a tough putt with danger behind. If he misses that putt, doesn't draw metal, that's going to go probably 20 or 30 long into no man's land, and that'd be coming back for a bogey. So that was definitely clutch to get two strung together here early on.
I feel like a birdie on this hole is definitely probably half a stroke on most of the field as well.
Yeah, it's crazy for a 291-foot hole, but it plays hard. There's a lot of defense going on. Probably not a lot of bogeys on this hole, but a tough two.
We had 10 birdies, an 11% bogey rate, and 8% double bogey or worse.
Perfect. Average 3.03, so the average is par. Fourth hardest hole on the course.
Heck yeah. So you see Caleb and Davey tap out. Moving on to hole 6 here. Playing from the long pads. OB Island. So the island is normally everything else is OB. This time the island itself plays as OB. You want to go down straight here, makes a hard right, and the pin will be right in between those trees there off to the right. As you see, kind of freeze frame right in the middle.
This hole's really just, can you beat the first 3 trees? There's this one that's just in front of the tee pad, which comes into play. It's a tight tee shot. The second tree off to the left, and then that sort of stumpy tree you can see right there. If you beat those 3, put something into the fairway that's finishing to the right, you've got a good shot. As Kai gets a killer roll here to get into position for what should be another birdie for him.
Yeah, getting down that little slope that Kai rolled down means it's a good shot. Anywhere else, you're kind of kicking yourself, wishing you could take it back. Now you just got to make a putt from 25, 30 feet. As we'll see, all these guys throw forehands on this hole. It made it really lefty friendly this year.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Creekside in general plays as a course that's easier for righties. It's just the way that it was set up. And so as much as possible, I try and keep, like, especially final day layouts as, it's for forehand dominant players too, right? It's like people who like to throw forehands off the tee. It should play fair for backhand, for forehand, for lefties, for righties, and score separate no matter who's throwing what shot. And so we try and, at least if there are some holes that we can set up to play for that forehand or for lefties, we're going to do it just because it sort of evens the playing field for everybody else.
Yeah, we see Davey kick an early tree there. I think he hit one of the trees right where the drop zone is for where the island hole, so it kind of saved him a little bit.
Caleb, this looks good if it gets a good skip. Little long.
Checks up on those last little spindly trees. There's definitely some Twizzlers that you can get caught up in.
Davey.
He's got a long look there. Leaves it out to the right, which is kind of the only thing you really can do with that layup. If you try running it, you can catch those early trees and just end up in a bad spot.
Yeah, you can see how defended this green is. If you're not off to the right, it's just a lot in the way, and that's pretty much what you can do. You give it a bid, put it close, take your par, and move on.
Gabe had to get around this spire leg of the branch. He was kind of struggling for footwork, found something that worked, kind of gives him an Annie bid at the basket.
Yeah, I've been here a lot of times, and it's a very tricky putt.
Think it makes it easier that he's lefty putting here?
Not really. Just a little low. I think because it's a lot higher on that left side. If you're a righty, you can kind of get over those branches a little bit easier.
Kai's got it nice and squared up here with those trees. Knocks in his 3rd birdie in the row, and he's 4 down through 6, and sort of running away with it. After 3 holes, he only had 2 strokes on Gabe, and this will move him to 4 ahead of everybody who's chasing him for first place.
Caleb tapping in his par. Kind of more of a downhill putt. We'll see this similar putt from Gabe. Just because that slope going towards hole 7's tee pad is up there. Makes it a little more difficult. Got to keep the disc low instead of giving it a good pop. But these should be tap-ins for these guys.
Gabe cleaning up.
Shame you didn't make that pathway, OB.
Yeah, it would have been
really
wild.
scary.
It would have been bad for me on day 2. I think I went. Oh no, this was a different tournament entirely that
Yeah.
I'm remembering in my brain. But I've landed up there before. Hole 7. There is a Mando in play, so you'll see a red arrow there to the right. It does not and should not really come into play for 96% of shots, but sometimes it does. This is a dog leg left into one of the most guarded positions that you can probably imagine at Creekside. I don't think there's any harder hole to get inside of circle 1 on this entire course. It is quite tricky. The basket is tucked way into the trees.
This is playing as the 3rd hardest hole on the course today, with an average of 3.11. So a lot of pars, few birdies, but this is a tricky one, and you got to get something to skip super hard left. High with forehand, not a bad spot.
Yeah, any look that you have at making a birdie on this hole feels like a win. If you're short left, it is guarded by trees. If you're long right, it is guarded by trees. If you are, kind of right center, you've got a putt. But there's not a lot of lines that are clean to get all the way into the green. So it's a little poke and pray, but that is rare for Creekside. It forces you to make a big putt, which is also kind of rare for Creekside. So it's a challenging hole, but it's a good one to have.
Yeah, as you see Gabe go a little long there, safe from the OB, but he'll be fine. Davey looking to replicate, get it even further left. Plays this one a little higher.
And these guys are kind of drawing it up. It's safest to do what they're doing, which is forcing something that's just down flat, skipping left hard. You can saw something off and get up to circle 1, but in doing so, you're going to have to get lucky about 6 or 7 times just by getting by trees. So if you can push something out deep, as Caleb does go high and early.
Catches something.
He catches a very early tree there and just kind of drops straight down.
Yeah, so you can see what happens when you do go short. It's just jail. You're just trying to get something up close for an easy 3. And that's a killer run from there.
That's what I mean. That 100-foot just dead straight forehand is insane.
Davey, his 70-footer.
Maybe even longer than that.
Kind of soft bit at it at best. Getting close. Kai.
All right, big putt me, Gabe.
Just short?
Just short. He gave it a full run. He was ready to go before we even got up to the discs. And this is kind of funny to think Gabe has the same putt as Kai, even though he's a righty thrower.
Yeah.
And that's a good bid from there, too. This is a tough hole. And these guys are all going to... Ooh, Caleb's a little longer than I thought.
Yeah, he kind of took a little skip. He came in under the basket, skipped a little bit long, but he's got a strong putt.
Strong putt. Little obstructed. He can get through that little gap.
Bang, bang.
Perfect.
Yeah, and 3 here is getting 0.1 strokes in the field. And it's a good way to approach it when you come to Creekside because everything can feel birdie or die, but at the end of the day, it's not actually how the course ends up playing out. So only 3 birdies on the day on this card, or on this hole. Going to Tony and Tyrell and Kessler. So good birds on this hole, guys.
Good birds indeed.
I think I saw Kessler's birdie today. I think I did. I think he was on my card.
I think he was, because he was on the card ahead.
Yeah, that's right. We were on Chase.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, he smashed a putt on this hole. Gabe tapping in his putt.
And then we go to our on-course interview in this round with cameraman himself.
How you feeling today? Well, my putt feels pretty good. Those have been a little bit off, but we got Gabe behind us. Man's an amateur, so we'll see how it goes.
That is your on-course interview with Kai Kim, ladies and gentlemen.
How did you get Kai to talk on camera during a round? Because he won't talk on camera any other time of the day.
Oh, I literally just put it in his face.
Okay, cool. Hole 8 here, 387 feet. I feel like it plays a little shorter. My ideal shot is a spike hyzer. You're aiming at the far trees. that you can see, and you're just having something crash in. I know some people like kind of more of a floaty mid that gets left. Kai with his forehand, he'll be throwing kind of more of a flex line at that shot.
Yeah, I feel like this plays way more inside than you think. Like, even that on a lot of hyzer is still a little wide.
And does it beat the hill? That's what you have to beat on this hole. This hole is sneaky hard in any position that it's in, because that hill will just creep up on you. So unless you have something that is, even if it's fading on a nice angle like Kai's was, it has to be just the perfect distance to actually get into circle one. Getting a birdie on this hole feels real good.
And this is more that line I'm talking about with Gabe. His is even a little wider than I would like it. I like to see it come almost on a knife hyzer to beat that hill and get down into kind of the valley where the basket is.
Davey steps up here. Ian was asking him a few questions about what he was going to throw.
V1 or V2, Davey?
Making sure he's throwing something stable and high, man. Like,
Retool.
that's what it is. Time lapse. The new time lapse, not the old time lapse.
Yep.
Can you get it high enough? That's the real question on this. That's high enough, but I don't think it's enough hyzer to beat the hill.
It does.
It does.
Yeah, he took it inside. I mean, that's what you got to do on this hole. You got to trust that even though you're throwing kind of what feels like directly into OB, because there is OB left on this hole, that you've got enough speed or enough distance to beat it and finish left hard enough to get close to the pin.
That's way too
Caleb's looking wide, but
Actually, not bad.
wide. No,
Yeah,
it
base of
was.
the hill.
I think it was flippy enough that it wanted to stay up versus when you throw too overstable, it kind of just crashes into the hill.
Totally. Kai for his birdie, I think he's just kind of laying this up, making sure it's close. That is a lot harder layup than most people think, just because the downhill wants to take your disc so much further.
Yeah.
That's clean. He kind of gave it a little bit. If that was, a touch higher and a touch more right, that was going in. But where he lands is perfect. Gabe with really similar look and an excellent bid. Hits front cage. It's a good run.
Yeah, he putted with his Berg there instead of his Rico's, just to make sure that it did die.
That's why it didn't go in.
He doesn't have the Uncle Rico's. Try to do another round. Come get your Uncle Rico's. Very few left in stock. Caleb for his birdie from the hill.
Another good bid. He's drawing metal left and right.
Davey for the lone birdie.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked. We did have 9 birdies on this hole, playing as tied for 6th most difficult. So he's gaining strokes on the card, but not on the field in general. So hole 8, it's a fun one.
I promise you that didn't look as bad as
Yeah, it's a great hole. It's my favorite position for this hole on this course, and just because it brings in some distance, a little bit of challenge. There's a lot of different ways to get there. You see people throwing putters. You see people throwing 12-speed drivers. It's just, that's a creative hole, and it's challenging. It's tough to get there no matter what.
For sure.
Pulling up to hole 9. I love this hole. We added for the Creekside Open last year this Mando left red arrow that you were seeing on the tree, and it has really put some teeth onto a hole that could otherwise just be a pretty stock hyzer run around the right side. You really just want something that settles down early, scoots up to the basket. If you go long, there is water deep, and it probably came into play, I would imagine, a couple times during this round. But off the tee, all you're thinking is don't miss Mando, don't miss Mando, don't miss Mando. And David does a nice job of getting up there to give himself a putt.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
Skipped under the log. Is pretty much what you can hope for when you throw it that low.
Yeah, as a righty, I'm thinking flex forehand, make sure I get past the Mando, or I'm throwing something straight stable, kind of just to the left of the Mando, and if I hyzer out early, I'm not going to be mad, as Kai does Kai things.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's a smart play. Just something slightly stable, right at it. Never had a chance of going and missing the Mando. Never had a chance of going too far left. Never had a chance of going too far long. It'll give him an easy putt.
Gabe opting for the forehand.
Yeah, I like this play.
Ben, have you thrown a forehand on this at all?
I have, but I'm just not as confident in my forehand. If I were, I would throw it all of the time because it's definitely the safe play on this hole. It pretty much eliminates the missing Mando aspect of it, but what it does bring in is the trees to the left, which can come into play not just for a forehand but also for a backhand. It's a little tighter than what you can really see here from the video, but it's the smart play. It's the tournament play as Caleb sneaks through, makes it down there, and that'll be a tough birdie bid, but at least he's got a putt.
Yeah. Throwing a berg there off the tee, which is insane to me. This is his birdie look, Caleb. Just outside of circle 1, maybe 36 feet.
Bang.
Drains it.
Yeah, he's been hitting metal all day, and he was deserving some birdies, so it's good to see him finish the front 9 strong.
Yeah, only 2 birdies on the front 9 for Caleb. Hoping he'll have a better back 9. Davey, 25 feet for his birdie. Been putting great all day. Can he catch another one?
Bang, bang.
Kai, his birdie, kind of between the trees. For him, that's a tap-in almost every day.
Yeah, he's got such a confident putt from inside 25. If he's there, he's expecting to make it, and that's the mentality you have to have if you're going to make those putts. So it's good to see him. He's got a really strong front 9 going 5 down through 9, which is how you want to start. The back 9 here at Creekside is definitely more scoreable, and we'll see you on the back 9.
Yeah, we got to finish off with a star frame on hole 9 there. We had some hot rounds coming into the back half here. Kai shooting 5 down there. Davey also shooting 5 down through the front 9. But huge shout out, Tony, 8 down through 14 right now. Having a great round out there. Making a push.
Look at me, still tied for 5th.
Yeah,
Could be worse.
could be a lot worse for Ben, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already,
There I go.
make sure to check out the back 9 of this round. Make sure to go check out the Bad Throws Good Bros channel and the Another Round channel. And make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the back 9.